This 75th year, we are doing both Bhagavad Gita chanting and Hanuman Chalisa chanting. Both, well, actually, Bhagavad Gita is more signature of Chinmaya mission. And it's because the beauty of the Gita is, we're doing Mandukya at the moment on Tuesdays, and in Mandukya, it's really to get moksha. However, most people aren't ready or don't feel ready, and some people don't even want it. Even if those who genuinely want it eventually don't feel quite ready for moksha. And so that's why Gita is considered more the text for everybody to follow. Because even though, like we've seen in chapter 13, Gita emphasizes the imperishable nature of the self. Like, live your life knowing you are imperishable. And that's what makes Gita so beautiful. That is, you're living your life, right? Arjuna has to fight this battle. In fact, Krishna tells him, you can't go sit in the cave and meditate. Mandukya is like, there's no cave, but you sit and meditate. And so fighting the battle is exactly what we are doing. We're fighting the battle. Whatever it is, that's our own battle. And this morning we're talking to a new mom, and her battle is sleepless nights. Being able to deal with life when having sleepless nights. And then somebody else's battle is some relationship issue that they are navigating. Somebody else's battle is a quarter life crisis when they don't know what to do with their lives. And the world is changing. So quarter life crisis, really what to do with your life, because we don't know what the world's going to become. So how to plan and work towards our life. And so we see that in so many ways, the battle takes place in the way situations come to us. The situation need not necessarily be a battle, but then the way we respond to it, we feel somewhat conflicted. We want this, but this is what's happening. So that's the battle is either one, this is what I want, but this is what the world is. And so during COVID, I want to go out, but the world is, you can't go out. Yeah. Or I want this, maybe to be married, but this is what it is. I'm not. Or the other way, I want not to be married, but this is what it is. I am. So the battle of conflict is what I want versus what actually is. And then, of course, the other conflict, much more popularized when we speak about things, is what I want versus what I know is better. And the simplest example is the snooze button. What I want, the snooze button, but get up. Like you fix that time for the alarm because that was enough time calculated to be able to do. And I stay in different people's houses. And in fact, somebody the other day was reminding me that they said, when you stayed in our house, the alarm just kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and you didn't wake up. And I thought, really? Like how? Because I only stay in people's houses in Hong Kong if Swamiji was here. And then how did I just sleep when Swamiji was here? Usually I would have been like I have to go do 300 things. And then the mom was also there. And the mom said, no, the alarm kept ringing and ringing and ringing because she didn't switch it off and she was gone. So the poor other person who heard my alarm ringing for like so long. So I had stayed with them, and that time the girl was young. I think she was in university or something. Then the next time I stayed with them, she had a job. And the alarm rang at 5:30, then at 5:35, then at 5:40, Then at 5:45, and it was old, right? It was like, this was like before we just did everything on our phone. So there were different types of alarms because, you got those. And so the sound is different also. And so she set up like, because she couldn't wake up. So like what I want versus what I know I should do versus what I can actually do versus what I know is good for me. How we give into it. But in her case, she wanted the feeling of she slept in. So she had the alarms ring every 5 minutes, half an hour before she woke up. Just so that the feeling of, oh, I slept in. And I mean, if sometimes we have to trick our mind, we have to trick our mind. But what we'd want to not have to trick our own minds, no? Wake up at 6, just wake up. So the battle between what I want and also what I want. I want to just be able to wake up at 6. I also want to sleep in. So some people say it's what I want versus what I think is right. And then it sounds very balvihar, but also we want to do what is right. So it's actually a conflict between what I want and what I want. Now that battle is very hard to fight. If I have to fight you, I win. But here, it's what I want versus what I want. And so who wins? I both win and I both lose. And a lot of the Gita's this battle. Navigating this battle. And that's why the first verse that Swamiji has chosen in the Gita Panchamrit is lift yourself by yourself. So even between my two desires, I know clearly which one's a higher desire. And then we let that desire win. And so Gita is so beautiful because its emphasis is you are imperishable. Chapter 2 starts with you are imperishable. Atma is not born. Atma does not die. Atma cannot be destroyed in any way whatsoever. Now, when you live everyday life, live knowing you are imperishable. This would change the way we live. Because if we really believe and understand we are imperishable, fear is removed. And sometimes when I'm talking to people about spirituality and moksha, they'll say, not this life. What, not this life? Like, maybe. Do you want to go to Mount Kailash? Not this life. Maybe now I'm too old and the journey is too strenuous. Yeah? Or, I remember even during the course when I was studying, then I was struggling with some chanting. And then one of the other brahmacharis that were there, who was senior, not a batchmate, said, this life you're not going to learn it. Next life you learn it. Of course, that made me so angry. And so easily we can talk about next life. Next life I'll go to Kailash. Next life I'll be a good dancer. Next life I will do more meditation. Next life, if we could do the same thing with everything. So fear what this life, fear we're going to lose something. If I don't get it this life, I'll get it next life. Then like that angst, like actually we talk about next life so casually in some ways. But then death still so scary and we want to finish so many things this life. I have to do it now because otherwise when will I do it? But if you take away that timeline, that ease with which we are able to do things. Of course, Gita doesn't want us to be complacent. But the idea is that sometimes that pressure of the fear some people say they work better with that, and some people don't work well with that pressure at all. So if I can just, whatever I don't finish this life, I'll finish next life. Then that pressure of that fear goes away. But that's also the reason Christianity took out reincarnation from the Bible. Because people can become too bindas. I'll do it next life. And then they do nothing at all this life. But here, the idea is I am imperishable, and then I am functioning in the world. So the knowledge of imperishable takes away complacency if I truly understand that I have to go back to that. Not just keep dying and dying and dying and dying. Not that just forever keep just making mistakes and stay here, because I am imperishable, and then I live my life with this knowledge of being imperishable, is to remove the fear from my actions, not to bring in complacency into my actions. Gita. Gita's not saying that next life you can do whatever and then you're free. So this life, if you muck up, it's fine. But it's taking away the pressure of, if I muck up, it's okay. It's not the end. So, this battle, if we feel the battle is going to destroy us, or if we feel we're not going to be able to master it and then we'll lose, the way we fight the battle is very different. But if we understand the imperishableness of our nature, and then we fight the battle, it lends to us having more clarity of how to do it. And hopefully us being able to see that the more time we waste in fighting these battles, the longer it's going to take us to get back to just being at peace in that imperishable nature. So in the Gita, we are living life. In Bandukya, we're dissolving the world. But in Gita, we're not dissolving the world. We're using the world and whatever circumstances are there in that moment to be able to follow what Krishna is saying. And then so many different verses in the Gita for what Krishna is saying. And if we don't remember anyone else, but the second one, even more so. Because internally, we have to continuously lift our thinking. But externally, it's karmanyevadikaraste, which means just do what you have to do. All of us have experienced being really tired. But work is still there. And so you just do. There's no room for an excuse not to do. Karmanyevadikaraste is, this is my hak. The word is right. But in English, the word is right. It doesn't have that same. This is my, actually, I'm taking liberty in the way that I translate it, but this is my privilege. This is where I have control. This is something that is within my range of choice. What is? My doing. My not doing is also my choice, but not doing isn't privilege. The doing is privilege. The word used in the verse is right. My Entitled, I am entitled to. We love being entitled to things. What am I entitled to? Act. Then, not react. Not entitled to that. And then also, not entitled to what I get as the result. And we went to Sasa the other day and we got this free coupon. And then I thought, yay, we can next purchase get this much off. But it's only for this brand, this brand, this brand, this brand, which we don't want. So you think, I have a right to 35% off. And then when you get to the shop, no, you don't. This is what happens in our thinking. We think we have a right to the outcome. No, you don't. You have to read the fine print. So even when you get that coupon and you think, yay, no. I'm never going to buy those brands. Put it away. But the mistake is in mind, right? It's written clearly. But the 35 is written big and then the other ones are written small, so we don't notice the small. That's our mistake. In life also. We expecting to have control of outcome is our mistake. Because this verse makes it very, very clear. The only thing we have entitled to, the only thing we have a right to, the only thing we have a privilege of is acting. So if we see it as a privilege, if we see it as an entitlement, it's so different to seeing it as a duty. We met someone recently who has an arthritic conditioning, and she lost the ability to even lift her bed sheet. Wow, huh? Imagine. Like you're not able to lift up your own bed sheet to cover you. Not even chadar, just bed sheet. We have a privilege to be able to act. Sweeping the floor, doing the dishes, running that errand, going for the function. That's what Gita is saying. It's a privilege. This is what you're entitled to. Until you're not. And then, unfortunately, only when we're not, we realize, it was so cool that I could do that. And sometimes I see these young ones and then we're eating some desserts and then they won't eat. And I'll say, you're being foolish. There's going to be a time when you can't eat it. You just enjoy it now. Not that we should overindulge. That's not at all what I'm saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is, we don't realize, we take so for granted. So, karmanyevadikaraste is actually a very profound verse. Like, remember, this is where you, like, this is yours. In this world, what's ours? So precious little is ours. Things outside are not ours. Can be taken like us, like this. Even we own property, but every single property has that you own it only for this many years. Usually it's like 99, but still. And in Hong Kong, not so much. No, the government doesn't take over your property, but in Singapore, they take over. You only own that property for 50 years, and then after 50 years, they take it. Like, what's yours? And then people, they flip like this, good mood, bad mood. Sometimes even more drastically, they flip. What's yours? My actions. It's a right. It's my entitlement. It's my privilege. And how? Act how? Knowing you are imperishable. So if I was indestructible, and this is when we have youth classes, this is one of the ways we ask the youth to find out their swadharma. If you could do anything at all in the world and know that you would not fail, what would you do? So in the same way, whichever action we have taken up now, how will you do it if you're not going to fail? Because you're imperishable. Nothing can hurt you. You're imperishable. So often we don't do things because what will people think? But I'm imperishable. Whatever they think is not going to perish me. And so often we don't do it because we feel we'll fail or be embarrassed by it or be criticized for it or we'll lose something or we'll. And then if I'm imperishable, how would I act? The mind very easily becomes mechanical. And so much of our actions we do mechanically. But this verse is reminding us that those actions are your battle. All our actions is how we're fighting our battle. So we're not getting moksha because we want to stay in this world. And so since we're staying in this world, we're fighting the battle. And how are we fighting the battle? All these actions that we are doing. So firstly, between acting and not acting, choice should always be to act. Really, really tired? Act. Don't know if I can do it well? Act. What if I muck up? Or definitely I'm going to fail? Act. Even if definitely I'm going to fail. Sometimes we know this person is so upset with us. I'm going to go say, I'm sorry and I love you. Please forgive me. And they're not going to look at me. Still do it. But they're not going to look at me. Still do it. Why? Because that's how I'm fighting my battle. This is my privilege. My actions shouldn't be based on their privilege. My actions should be based on my privilege. Remembering I'm imperishable. They're ignoring me. They're not accepting my forgiveness is not making me perish. And so the quality of my actions will increase so much, right? So much. So in Gita, we are fighting the battle. Outside in the world through our actions and inside through our thoughts. And choosing our thoughts inside is what will determine our actions outside. But in Vedanta, we have this difference between Shama and Dhamma. Shama is mental control and Dhamma is physical control. And so sometimes mind doesn't want to do it, but you can force the body to do it. Easiest example is exercise or like eating something we don't want to eat. Actually, it's not so hard. Put it in your mouth, swallow. Although some people will have so much gag reaction, so much this and so much that. It's like too much drama. Just swallow. Um, so what's Dhamma? Even if I haven't been able to sort my mind out, to believe that this is the right thing to do or to want to do the thing that I have to do, you can still make the body do it. So karmanyevadikaraste is the actions that we have to do, and to just make the body do the actions. And all of us have done it, huh? All of us have been exhausted, but there's dishes in the sink. You just do it. Because you don't want to wake up to dishes in the sink. We've all done it. So when then taking this further, the next verse in the Gita Panchamrit is Yat Karoshi Yadashnasti. That whatever I do, whatever I eat, whatever I offer, may it be an offering to you. So if we go back to in Gita, we are being taught we are imperishable, and so live your life acting with that understanding and with the intention to go back to imperishable nature. Now, in me going back to imperishable nature might become too subtle for us to keep thinking. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing the dishes when I'm so tired? So I can go back to imperishable nature. Why am I saying I'm sorry and please forgive me to somebody who's not going to acknowledge my existence on this planet? Because I want to go back to imperishable nature. Why am I being disciplined even though nobody else is being disciplined? I'm the only one being disciplined. Why? Because I want to go back to imperishable nature. Sometimes that's too much. It feels too impersonal. And so, even though that will work with intellect, it won't work with mind. And we have both mind and intellect. And everything I've said so far will work with intellect. But for majority of the population, mind is stronger than intellect. Even those people who say they are highly intellectual, mind is stronger than intellect. How will you know if mind is stronger than intellect? Very easy. Do you press the snooze button? Mind is stronger than intellect. Do you do the things you don't want to do? Intellect is stronger. You do all the things you want to do? Mind is stronger. Do you avoid people you don't like? Mind is stronger. Most of us, mind is strong. Intellect may be educated, but not strong. Therefore, yad karoshi yadashnasi. That kurushva madarpanam means dedicated it to Bhagwan. So instead of thinking, I am doing all this to go back to my imperishable nature, mind doesn't want to go back to imperishable nature. Mind wants to be loved. Mind wants to be looked after. Mind wants to be important in this world. And so, dedicated to Krishna. And Krishna is so charming. And he became chariot driver for Arjuna. Imagine he became chariot driver for Arjuna. In today's world, it would be taxi driver, chauffeur. Bhagwan can love devotees so much that he can become chariot. Bhagwan can love devotees so much that he can become Lord. Bhagwan can love devotee so much. There's so many stories. Ramji eating Shabri's bear after she's eaten. Or Krishna massaging Santa's feet in the Ashwamedha Yagna. Yes. So many, so many. But like, just in the Gita itself, there's that really sweet story where, whenever Krishna went to Hastinapur, when the Pandavas were doing big havans and yagnas, he always landed and went straight to work. Landed means he must have landed. Actually, there's a beautiful description that the Pandavas would drive to the border of Hastinapur and accompany Krishna in the chariot all the way back to the palace, and then they would greet him with all um, rituals of welcoming him and adorning him, and then he'd go straight to work. He would literally be serving in the Maidan where the people had come, or he would be so many places where they show that he never sat and just received the praise. Even in the war, he's a charioteer. He's going from council meeting to the other. He's crossing over and speaking to Bhishma Pitama. He's crossing over speaking to, and he's always doing something. He's never just sitting on his throne. Or maybe the stories of when he was just sitting on the throne, we don't know. There's one incident where Arjuna goes to Dwarka when Krishna is having a huge yagna. And when Arjuna lands and comes to Krishna's palace and Krishna receives him, Krishna says, "Oh, you look exhausted. Why don't you go take a nap?" And so Arjuna goes and takes a nap in Krishna's room. And then the yagna is about to start, and at first he says to somebody, "Go wake up Arjuna," and then he says, "No, maybe y'all will wake him up too, harshly. I'll go and wake him up." Even this, like Bhagwan himself tells devotee to go nap, and then Bhagwan is going to wake up devotee after the nap, because now, you see this love. And so if Krishna can be so loving to Arjuna, then he'll be so loving to me also. But remember, when Bhagwan went into that room and saw Arjuna sleeping, with every out breath, Arjuna was saying, Krishna. And so Bhagwan stood there listening to Arjuna saying, Krishna, with every out. And then the story continues that Naraji came and played the veena, and then Rukmini came and she did the payals. And so when Bhagwan is looking after devotee has to also turn mind to Bhagwan. Ananyas Chintayantam. With single pointed attention. When we think about Bhagwan, then he'll do everything. Then you don't have to fight the battle. But until our attention is ananyas, unwavering, till then we have to consciously make an effort for to do arpanam. Today I've done this, I offer it to you. Right. Still in many, many Indian homes, whatever's cooked is first offered to Bhagwan. Many don't do it anymore. Yeah. I think I've mentioned this story. I was staying with this one Gujarati family where they still, all of them stay together. So there were some 25 people in the house. It was a big house. It wasn't in Hong Kong. And then we were planning menu. So what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And then what we'll have for dessert? I said, no, let's not make dessert. And the lady I was talking to, how can we not give Krishna meetha? I thought, we're planning menu for tomorrow's lunch. No, she was planning Krishna's menu. Because whatever she cooks, she first gives it to Krishna. So we have to have meetha because we're giving it to Krishna. Otherwise, that meal is incomplete. I felt so ashamed. How could I be planning my own menu? This is terrible. And look at her bar. She and I were planning next day's menu for me. But in her head, there was never a doubt that first it's going to be offered to Krishna. Madarpana. Mad is offer it to me, but Krishna is saying offer it to me. So for us, it's Krishna Arpana. Yad karoshi, yad ashnasi. Whatever we do, whatever we eat. Eat is easy, but even that we've stopped. Whatever we do, offer it to Krishna. And this is really, if we really did this. So even when people are praying before they eat, so many people will ask me, what if I'm eating non-veg? Should I still pray before eating? Interesting that people would ask this question. Which means they already think Bhagwan wouldn't approve of eating non-veg. So I shouldn't pray before eating non-veg because Bhagwan wouldn't approve of it. Then don't eat non-veg. Is the logical. See, are we intellectual? We are not intellectual. Because if you were intellectual, that would then mean don't eat it. We are not intellectual because they want to eat it. And my answer is always yes. Because anyways you're offering it to him. Whether you say it or not. Chapter 15, he says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I'm here in your stomach, digesting all your food for you. So who are you offering it to? Him only, whatever you're eating. At least consciously you should know that this is what you're offering, Bhagwan. Be conscious that that's what you, just because you don't say the prayer doesn't mean you're not going to him. It's going to him only. Everything we should offer to him, which means if I speak rudely, I should offer it to him. Then I'll feel bad to offer him that I spoke rudely. Good. Next time before speaking rudely, remember, you're going to offer this to him. When I speak well, offer it to him. When I'm disciplined, offer it to him. When I'm indisciplined, offer it to him. And that's why it said, Yat tapasyasi, kaunteya. Whatever tapas you do, whatever effort you do, and whatever laziness also you have, offer it to him. Until when I keep offering it to him, ananyas chintayantam mam. Then what's beautiful is if I make enough effort in my offering things to Bhagwan, no more effort is needed in doing things. Yoga Kshema Mahamyaham. He'll take care of the doing. If I truly take care of the thinking of him, he'll take care of the doing. But if I don't take care of the thinking of him, then I have to do. And we all know who's going to do a better job. And then lastly, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. We started with saying in Gita, we are first and foremost told you are imperishable, but you have to fight in this world. And the battle is my own thoughts against my own thoughts, or my wanting things to be a certain way and the world having things decided another way. And so after fighting with circumstances in the world or my own thoughts, ultimately we have to remember that whatever we have taken up as our identification. What's our identifications? Huh? Body, definitely. More than that, what else are our identifications? Friend, family members, yes, the roles we play. Somebody said something online. My own personality, the roles we play. Introvert, extrovert, artistic, management. Somebody else said something. When we identify with brands, then the role would be someone who's fashionable or someone who has status. That would be the identification. Or maybe roles is more personality traits that I think I am. So I can definitely think I'm intellectual. That would be, I consider that my dharma. Yeah, the word dharma translates a bit differently. Our passions. Our passions. I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a dancer, I'm a cook, I'm a whatever we enjoy. Makeup specialist. I'm very good at. I'm very spiritual. Whatever the ego identifies, even if it's something it's specific as, maybe I'm not a good cook, but I'm very good at making this one thing. So then that becomes an identification. Yeah, I'm using the word in the limited sense here. But I identify with being, and then so much, right? I identify with being so many. The list of how many things I identify being is very, very long. Politics, gender is huge. And then, yes, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan, I'm a, gluten-free, all of that, yes. Yes, these serve dharma, parityaja. Then we offer even these. So initially I was offering my actions, my emotions, body, mind, intellect level, but more doing level, feeling level. Sarva dharman parityaja, the feeling that I have, this emotion is I'm offering. So it's a more subtle layer of even identifying with that. I'm offering my identifying. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, I'm offering the action. In Sarva Dharman Parityaja, I'm surrendering the identifying of doership, of enjoyership. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. So that I am left with only the truth of I am imperishable, which is what we started with. Gita starts with. You are imperishable. But we will only get to that truth when we let go of all identifications. Aham tva sarva bhavim. when we get to this point of I am imperishable, there's no Papa. All Papa washed away, because all Papa was done by the identity that's identified. We spoke about it last class in chapter 13. All the doings of the dreamer is left with the dreamer when we wake up. There's no more Papa. But actually, this is huge. This no more Papa bit is every single suffering we have is because of some Papa we do. And then it's not really, I want to emphasize that it's not because I'm a bad person. Even sometimes carelessly, we stub our own toe. So painful it is sometimes. Whose fault is it? We only stubbed our own toe by not being careful, being in a hurry, not go looking where we're going. And this guest we had in Hong Kong for this last week, and she said, everyone's only ever looking at their phone. When I'm walking on the streets, I have to keep dodging people on their phone. We're so used to it, we didn't notice it. We also on our phone. But it does create so many accidents, right? So much so that the MTR now has a, and MTR House has an announcement. Please look up from your mobile phone. Recorded announcement continuously because people get hurt, right? So, what is Papa? This, me hurting myself. When I stub my own toe, hurt myself. I'm on my phone and I fall off the escalator. Who am I going to blame? And it can be such a serious injury. What is Papa? Me hurting myself. But it's not immediate. When I stub my toe, the pain's immediate. When I am rude to someone, when I am selfish, when I am lazy, when I am insensitive, when I am ignorant, the pain comes afterwards, and I don't make the connection that I only caused this pain for myself. It's so much worse, no? That I'm only causing my pain. There's no one else to blame only. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam bhav. Then there's no more power because I won't hurt myself anymore. Foolishness is not there. I've surrendered all these identifications that make me so foolish. It's all the identifications that make me so foolish. Moksha ikshami. And then this comes again and again and again in the Gita. Ma sucha. Don't be sad. Don't worry. Third, continuous theme in the Gita. Chapter 2 starts only with Krishna saying this. Do not grieve. Masucha comes at least 3 times in chapter 2. And then Krishna ends with this also. Masucha. Don't worry is one translation. We started with that. We are imperishable. So act in the world remembering you are imperishable. Then you won't worry. What is there to worry about? Also, will I ever find Krishna? Of course you'll find him. Masacha. Has he noticed my pain? Yes. Masacha. Can I ever get moksha? I am so deluded. Mind is so restless. I'm so selfish. Masacha. He has said he will do. He's told us so clearly what we have to do, and he's told us so clearly what he will do. What we have to do? Ananyas Chintayantu. And Madarpana. Krishna Arpana. What will he do? Everything else. Yoga Kshema Mahamyaham and Moksha. You don't have to give. He'll give. What do we have to do? Uddareta. Lift ourselves. Na Atma Avasad. Don't put yourself. Then Karmanyevadikaras. Your privilege is to act. Yat Karoshi Yadashnasi, everything offered to Krishna. Ananyas Chintayantu. Think of me and me. Then what will happen? Yoga Kshema Mahamya. He'll take care of it. And Moksha Ikshami Ma Sacha. Get moksha. He'll do. Actually, what we have to do is the easy bits. What he has to do is the hard bits. But we do his job also badly, and we don't do our job at all. Because we try to look after ourselves. It's never going to be as good as what he can do. And then what he tells us to do, we don't do. So these Gita Panchamrits I have spoken about briefly. Actually, I've spoken about each one separately, but what I said is different to what I said in each one separately. So y'all can listen to those also. And this is somewhat summary. So we can keep listening. And keep chanting, memorize, and teach. Yeah. If you are grandparents, please teach the grandkids to chant it and the meaning of it. If you are parents, teach kids. If nobody listens to you, you teach yourself. No, you try teaching others also. Somebody will listen. We know it though, right? Let's do it together. Uddaretatmanatmanam natmanam avasadare atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuh Mate sangosmi karmani yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yata yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushvamadarpanam anatyashitayanto ye jana paripasate Tesham nityami yuktanam yogakshemam pahamyaham sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshaishyami ma sucha. Harihi Om. Any questions?
What did you mean by Gita doesn't want us to?
Gita doesn't want us to become complacent is when we don't try and improve. Lazy. Complacent is lazy about doing things. Improving. Doing things for ourselves. That's why Uddaret Atmanam is this, lift yourself by yourself. Don't be complacent. Don't sometimes stand as status quo. People, I can't do that. Or I'm like that only. Don't try and change. Actually, nobody can change anyone else, but we can definitely change ourselves. Don't be lazy to change or to put in effort. Complacent means lazy to put in effort. You can definitely change. Some of you all have seen in your own lives. I've definitely seen. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchitu kabhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.